Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Satan and Coffee. Very sorry for missing the inaugural episode for the middle of the week yesterday. Technical difficulties in terms of waking up too damn late. But we're here today, so there will be an episode today and there will be an episode tomorrow. Still working on the time. I think 6:30 is probably going to be a little bit better than 6. Just gives me a little bit more time to get set up and get the coffee brewing and all of those wonderful, wonderful things. So it is a work in progress, so there's going to be adjustments along the way. So what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be talking about Belial as an archetype and as a philosophical pillar to follow and work through. So because this is not the Sunday Black Mass, we will not be beginning with our normal invocation / prayer at the beginning. That is exclusively for Sundays. The Tuesdays and Thursday shows are more of kind of like a morning show, so to speak. And again, because the office is in the bedroom and Dyra is sleeping behind me, no video this morning. We'll figure something out at some point. I might get like a black curtain or something to kind of drape behind me to allow for having video on. But for the time being, you get to watch this lovely kind of moon and flowing through the clouds. I find this to be the best animation for this. So anyway, so as we get into this, so without a master, right? So honoring Belial through rejection of false authority. This is what we're going to be looking at today. Okay. So Belial as the liberator. The demon who walks without a master, bound by no God, no government, and no guilt. Okay, so this is kind of like what we're looking at, kind of like a liberation aspect of working with, or the philosophical pillar of Belial. Okay, so the concept here, the idea that we're working with, everyone, is the earth beneath you has no master, and neither do you. Not neither should you, neither do you. Okay? You should never have a master outside of yourself. Right? That master, the mastery of oneself, is an important part of understanding your process in life, of advancing in your life. And it sounds like a very selfish way of looking at things, but I promise you it isn't. When you are your own master and you control your own being, your own direction, that direction can include the people that you love. And therefore, you are still in mastery of yourself, but working towards a common goal. Right? I want to put that out there, right? So this can be applied to yourself if you're single, if you are on your own, you are a lone wolf with no pack, you still should have no master. And even if you are not single and you do have a pack, and you're not a lone wolf, you're still in mastery of yourself. You're still in improvement of yourself. Okay? So, spiritual slavery and the illusion of salvation. We're going to start with this one today. This seems to be, in my opinion, the most common way that people sacrifice their mastery. So many people for example, could have been raised, giving some examples here, raised under religious systems that taught submission, sin, guilt, and dependence. And most monotheistic systems function this way. If you think society in general kind of functions this way, society functions on the idea of dependency. The idea, for example, of increased governmental influence in society and on the everyday is contrary to the left-hand path, right? So having these systems in place from the moment we go to school, from the moment that we begin to learn dependence, we begin to learn submission, and we begin to learn guilt. And we are bombarded with this nonstop all the time. 1 second, I'm checking the stream health. I'm getting warnings from YouTube here that there's a problem with the bitrate and whatnot. It's higher than the recommended bitrate. Well, I mean, it's not my fault that it's going at that, right? It says that the stream's current bitrate is 10,821. The Abyssal View, the new semi-daily variety show. Like The View, but better. Looks good to me. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Is that like is that a suggestion for a name, or is that something that you've actually watched? Is that like a legit thing? It could be a suggestion. Not actually watched. Okay. Like The View, but better. I do like the sound of that. I do like the sound of that. So yeah, so when we look at society in general, society is constructed in such a way that at least the 3 pillars of society is submission, guilt, and dependence. Religion integrates this by adding sin, and sin is kind of like the catalyst for guilt, right? So religion kind of still follows on the guilt aspect, but it uses sin as the catalyst to impose guilt on its followers. If you're feeling guilty, if you're feeling, if you're feeling any of these things, just checking my bitrate really quick. My bitrate's 10,000, so I don't understand. I don't know. It looks fine, so we're just going to leave it. I just don't like the warnings that I get. That's all. I'm just like, oh, is the stream looking like crap? But no. So God above and sinner below, right? From a religious point of view. And if you look at government's the same way, right? I mean, the whole concept of the White House, like at least using American politics as an example, because it's the best one that I have. The concept of the White House, it's always this, linear, concept of above to below, right? And so we look at, this is more so kind of like financial systems, right? Society is constructed in such a way that it is built to separate us. It is built to divide us. It is built to put us into boxes and subsections and to impose control that way, right? So all systems, religious, governmental, societal, use a top-down hierarchy to impose control, to make you feel guilty, to make you feel less than. It is a constant. It is, yeah, exactly, divide and conquer. That's exactly what it is, right? So again, the God above, sinner below is a model that strips you of your divine or infernal identity. Belial says, you do not need saving. You need remembering. You need to remember who and what you are. You need to remember your purpose, your direction, your drive, right? And as we get older, here's the thing too: as we get older, those things we become jaded. These things become more difficult to follow. This motivation to push through, to endure, to overcome. Our desire for the fight becomes less. Right? We become old dogs that just kind of want to laze about and sleep, eat, and shit. And that is not something that we should be allowing to happen to ourselves. We shouldn't be allowing it to happen. Okay, so declaring spiritual independence can begin by consciously unlearning guilt-based beliefs. So that's usually kind of like where you want to start with these things, right? Like religion is probably the cornerstone of where our guilt comes from. Abrahamic faith, Abrahamic religion, monotheism, the one true God, sins, all of these things. This is where kind of like the guilt begins in our lives of being wrong for being who we are, especially if who we are doesn't align, right, with what society says we should be. Societal authority as a default God. Governments, institutions, and laws often act with moral pretense. Most laws are based biblically. Now, this isn't to say that laws don't have their place, right? We're not talking about lawlessness. We're not talking about anarchy either, because I find that to be equally as ignorant. I think, removing all types of systems or agreed upon behavior is just nonsensical. But I do believe that common law is probably the best law, where it's a set of laws that the society in place has agreed upon, and those laws are followed, not with governmental overreach. Belial challenges blind obedience to systems that benefit from your silence. Now, this is an important thing. If a system is benefiting from your silence, if any system, religious, governmental, organizational, if any system is benefiting from your silence, if you try to speak up and you try to open your mouth, you try to say something, it is probably not a system that you should be involved in. Moral law is another way of putting that. Yeah, I agree, Maeve. Morality. I do believe that there is just kind of an inherent subset of morality that exists inside of human beings. I believe that most religious doctrine and most laws are generally kind of based on the idea of morality, of pre-existing human morality, of what we deem to be right and wrong. Are there exceptions to that? Yes, but generally speaking, there's a rule of what we find to be moral and immoral, right? Nobody likes to have their shit taken, so stealing is wrong. Okay. Now, we run into issues with this. I'm one of those people that I've always said, if you see someone stealing food, no, you didn't. Food, people, food, not a 65-inch fucking, OLED TV. Food, right? If you see somebody stealing food, no, you didn't, right? Because unfortunately, it's just people need to eat, and sometimes I've been there, man. I've been there. I've been in those situations. I've been poor. I've been on the streets. I've needed to steal to eat, and it's not fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, charity is important. If you have to give, then give. If you have it and you can give it and you don't need it, then So with mass under law of Abrahamic religion, and wish to see otherwise, and it's our reality. When needing to eat, why take that from a human? Yeah, I mean, this is exactly it, right? I mean, this kind of extends back into, extreme punishment for stealing. I mean, I think like if you go into like you know old school Arabian cultures, if you were to steal, whatever hand you used to steal, they just cut it off and then cauterize it. That was your punishment for stealing, even a loaf of bread. And so, there's extremes that these things are taken to, and I think this is the biggest issue with society is we like to take things to extremes. And with Belial definitely has an extreme air to him. Because Belial is definitely the one that if you want change, like rapid change, and you want things stripped away quick so the change can, definitely take place, Belial's the one to work with. We have been in the lowest of lows when struggling to survive. I've enjoyed manifold blessings we are provided. Never forget, we are all on the level and we will all go to the same place. I like that. I like that. Very good. Very, very good. So, liberation comes from knowing when to disobey, and when to live without being ruled. Just an example, refusing toxic corporate work culture, such as unpaid overtime or loyalty over sanity, can be a form of modern spiritual rebellion. A Belial devotee might choose self-employment or push for boundaries, rejecting the expectation of servitude, right? And the idea here is just don't be a slave, right? Do what you need to do for you, but when whatever it is you're doing for yourself is no longer serving you, change it. And then again, this kind of goes into an idea and a concept that I constantly talk about, where the only person that can make changes in your life is you. If you don't like your situation, if your situation is shit, change it. Do something about it. Do something, the smallest, littlest thing that moves you 1/4 of a step in the direction that you want to move in, still progress. We spend too much time sitting there and thinking, progress is, a complete overhaul of our life and how we do things. And that's just simply not it. That's not how, this works. Progress happens in baby steps. It happens in leaps and bounds. It happens in different percentages all the time. But at the end of the day, you need to start making those steps. Even thinking and planning out a change is a step in the right direction, even before you take any physical action. Planning a change in your life, in your mind's eye, and mapping that out is a step in the right direction. Exactly. Exactly. The personal authority structures, right? Internalized control. The most dangerous master is the voice in your head that says, I can't do that. That's not allowed. Who do I think I am? And this is kind of where now we're rolling into like making those changes yourself, right? And the biggest one, and nobody can argue this with me, is I can't do that. Right? You don't like your job, get a new job. I can't do that. You don't like where you live, move. I can't do that. Yes, you can. Once you understand that you truly can do anything you want and nobody can stop you, personal power becomes a significantly more powerful concept. And here's the thing, like nobody's saying, like when somebody says, or like when I say, you don't like your job, change your job. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm telling you to start looking for a new one. You don't like where you live? Move. I'm not telling you to live on the streets and just walk out of your apartment. I'm telling you to start looking for a new place. Right? Like people kind of go to the extremes with this. Like, oh, you don't like your job? Well, change your job. Oh, I can't do that. Why not? Why can't you? Why? Right? Like, yes, you can. Exactly. We shape our reality through thought. And the biggest thing is when you tell yourself you can't, guess what? You can't because you're telling yourself that you can't. But if you tell yourself, yes, I can do this and I can do this intelligently and responsibly, then you can do that. Like, for example, Dyer and I don't like the house that we live in. We're going to move. Are we going to do it right now? No. But we're still going to do it. We're going to take time. We're going to look for a new place, right? Once the contract's up on this one, because we have a commitment that we made that we're going to honor to stay here for a year. And that's not about saying we can't leave. Of course we can. We're making a choice to stay to honor a contract that we made because that's going to affect our ability to rent some other place later on if we fuck over the people we're renting from now. It's not about can't. It's about intelligence. Never think that you can't do something because you can. Belial teaches the voices are echoes of long dead gods. Burn them. So the concepts and the ideas in your mind that tell you that you can't do this and you're not allowed to, or, the imposter syndrome that you go through when you're trying to do something, right? I mean, I suffer from imposter syndrome all the time. Doing this, there's imposter syndrome, right? My graphic design career, littered with imposter syndrome. And you have those voices in your head every time I would do a design. It's like, well, who do I think I am? Right? I'm not Andy Warhol. I'm not, H.R. Geiger over here. And you know what? It's true. I'm not. But I don't need to be. Nor should you. Comparison is the thief of joy. Never compare yourself to others. Yeah, I mean, you do. You kind of have to, step up and kind of keep moving through. And, I know a lot of people don't like hearing it that way, right? They don't like hearing the idea and concept of, people don't like hearing the idea and concept of like, yeah, you got to push yourself through it, right? So here's the thing. Here's my philosophy, and this is Satan and coffee, right? So this isn't apocrypha. This isn't adversary. This is Satan and coffee, right? This is 100% my shit. And so I'm going to say it how I see it. And how I see it is you do need to push yourself through things. You can't get out of bed. You need to get your ass up and out of bed. Right? Just like I did this morning. Do you think I wanted to get up out of bed? No, I didn't want to get up out of bed when the alarm went off at 5:30. I didn't want to get up. Guess what? I got my ass out of bed. I made a commitment to do this. I'm going to do this. And the excuse is, some people say, some people are in a position where they can't do that. That's going to, weigh down on them. You're telling them they need to do this. And, if they can't do it, they feel like they're failing. I'm sorry, but you are. I mean, it's a tough love concept. It really is. But you are failing yourself. You are failing. Like if your goal is to say, I need to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to be at the gym by 5:30. And that alarm goes off and you lay in bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and then you snooze it and you're just laying there in bed awake because you just don't want to get out of bed, you are failing yourself. And I know that that's a hard thing for people to hear. But I think some people need to understand that concept. They need to stop being coddled. Too many people are coddled and told it's okay, don't worry, you didn't get out of bed today, but you'll do it tomorrow. No, No. Get your fucking ass out of bed. Put the shorts on, put the shoes on, and go to the fucking gym. Warm up, get a workout in, go home, take a shower, get dressed, and go to fucking work. Stop failing yourself. Stop allowing yourself to fail yourself. Stop it. Because that's all you're doing. You're making excuses for your failure. You want to feel better for failing. I won't let you. Yesterday, I failed myself. Because the truth of the matter is technical difficulties. Yes, it was, but it was technical difficulties with my brain. I didn't hear my alarm go off, which is why I'm doing it today. It's a morning show. I didn't want to do it in the afternoon, so I'm doing it today. So today is the Tuesday installment of Satan and Coffee. Today I did not fail myself. And you know what? It's okay to fail yourself and understand that you failed yourself and then improve on that. So sitting in front of you is a living, breathing human example of personal failure, but taking a personal failure and building off of it. Personal failure doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Personal failure just means you need more discipline and more planning. And that's just it. Oh yeah, definitely. And well, the thing is like, I mean, I'm making excuses for myself here, but it's been a while since I've gotten up this early in the morning, so I kind of needed like, you know, a day for readjustment. But you know, here I am. As far as starting at 6, you know, the idea always was to get up at 5:30 and start at 6. A half an hour really isn't enough time to get a nice piping hot cup of coffee, get dressed, you know, and get everything set up for the stream. An hour is about realistic for that. So I think we'll be adjusting the start of the show to do like at 6:30 instead of 6. When we do pick ourselves up and continue, we should also forgive ourselves for the things we failed on. I 100% agree. Living inside your failure is continuing to fail yourself. Yesterday morning, I woke up, I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. I woke up at 7:30. I got to work at 8. You know, can't do the show. Shit, I fucked up. All right, fine, I'll do it tomorrow. That was it. Right? What did I do last night that was different than the night before? I made sure that I went to bed earlier. I made sure that I had an alarm that was loud enough to wake me up. You know, my first alarm for yesterday was birds chirping. That didn't do it. This morning, it was 5-finger death punch. No. I take that back. It was Pantera, walk. That was my alarm this morning. That woke me up. And I don't think there's any better way to start your day than hearing Pantera blaring in your ear if you're a metalhead. So, an example, right? Exactly. Great way to wake up. So, a real life example here for what we're talking about with personal authority structures, right? Or just your own accountability. Ending a toxic relationship, even when you've been gaslit into thinking you're the problem, is a perfect example of how to kind of break out of systems that you built around yourself, or a toxic work environment, toxic job, things like that, right? So always remember Belial's the voice in your head. You are already worthy of power because you exist, right? Doesn't matter who's gaslighting you. It doesn't matter, you know, how much you think you need that paycheck. You're worth more than the paycheck, and you're worth more than the toxic relationship that you're in, right? You know, Belial ritual to help kind of move through something like that could involve burning letters or photos, banishing their name with ash, and reclaiming your space, right? Is a good way to kind of like ritualistically, right? Ritual does have a place here. Ritual is very important. The two that I would definitely work with here would be Belial or Lucifer. Okay, either one of those. Lucifer usually to kind of show, you know, the toxicity that exists and the path that you need to take, and then Belial to walk it. So we have, where I have here, a simple kind of ritual expansion, a Belial kind of based ritual I call Burn the Chains. I want to give to you guys. And then one of the things I'm going to do for Tuesdays and Thursdays is I'm going to give you, for whatever entity or archetype we're talking about, I'm going to give you a ritual that you can do. Okay? For this. So what you're going to need for this is a simple ritual, right? Okay? This is essentially like, you know, burn the chains or a contract of control. Okay? You need a piece of paper or more, right? Depending on how much you're writing down here. A black and or red candle, right? Fire safe dish or cauldron. Okay, Belial sigil. Okay. Optional if you really want to go like really hard on it, you can have some iron shavings, dirt or stone, right? Just to represent like earth and resistance, right? If you want to have that physical representation in your altar space. So you could do that, right? So we're going to draw a Belial sigil on one side of the paper. On the other side, we're going to list names or symbols of authority that control us, right? Anything that is pushing you down. So it could be, this could represent your religious guilt, toxic ex-partner, work obligations, inner critical voice. You know, these could be words, symbols, pictures, anything that you feel like is holding you down. And what we're going to put that on the opposite side of Belial's sigil. And we're going to light the candle. We're going to say, this is what we're going to say. Belial, Lord of the earth, breaker of chains, I call you forth. I reject the masters I did not choose. I remember who I am, a god in flesh, not a subject in chains. Now, you can say that once, you can say that 3 times, you can say that 50 times, you can say that as many times as you need. Okay? And again, I'll recite it one more time for you. Belial, Lord of the earth, breaker of chains, I call you forth. I reject the masters I did not choose. I remember who I am, a god in flesh, not a subject in chains. So again, just as many times as you need until it clicks in your head. And then you're going to take the paper, you're going to burn it with the flame of the candle, and you're going to burn the paper in the dish. Rub the ashes between your fingers and mark your forehead and hands. Now, whatever mark you choose your mark of power, and that's what you're going to mark on your forehead and your hands. Right? And then when you close out of it, is where others obey, choose where others kneel. I walk, I serve no master, only my becoming. Again, where others obey, I choose. Where others kneel, I walk, I serve no master, only my becoming. Okay? So, to kind of run through kind of like the practical integrations of Belial's philosophy. Okay? In spirituality, leave a religion you no longer resonate with. Start your own practice. Work. Set hard boundaries with your boss. Demand respect or walk away. Relationships and codependent dynamics. Don't play the lesser role. Your own mindset. Reframe doubt into sacred rebellion. Who told me I can't? The only one telling you that you can't is yourself, right? Your body. Reclaim bodily autonomy through ritual, pleasure, or movement, right? So exercise or whatever it is that you need to do to kind of reclaim that power from yourself, right? Art. Create something offensive to old dogmas you once obeyed. Like, and this one I found as an artist, as a creative, this one's really good. Like, ritualistically speaking for yourself. If you are artistic in any way and you have ideas in your head of things that are kind of holding you back and you want to break away from those things, making something offensive to that, like that, you know, that like somebody that was hardcore into it, like would be offended by seeing, is very liberating. Right. And it's not in the sense of being offensive just to be offensive, because it's not necessarily something that you're going to show to these people, but it's something showing that you're no longer in control by it. Because if you are hesitant to create something because you think someone else is going to be upset by it, even if they're never going to see it, that says a lot about the influence that those people and that way of thinking has over your life and over you. So by allowing yourself to create something that is inherently offensive to that thing, regardless of whether they see it or not, is liberating of the self. Because you don't find it offensive. You just know that somebody else is going to find it offensive. And that's one of the things that kind of like, if you want to kind of have an understanding of like, if someone has control over you, if you think about doing something and you're hesitant or fearful of doing that thing because someone else might be upset about doing it, even though you really want to, you're probably in a situation where you might not want to be. Right? So, Belial's Black Earth. Belial is not chaos. He is structure without submission, foundation without master. When we say without a master, we are not rejecting the gods of others. We are forging the temple of self-rule, brick by brick, with rage, clarity, and blood. Your chains were made holy. Your rebellion makes them ash. Right? So there's a phrase. So I'm a big metalhead, and I don't know if any of you know the band Meshuggah. But there's a line in one of their songs from Catch 33 that really resonates with me, and has always resonated with me for years. It's resonated with me. The struggle to free myself from restraints has become my very shackles. When we play the victim with our lives and feel sorry for ourselves and constantly talk about how we want change but never want to change, the thing that holds us down is the struggle to free ourselves from those restraints. And the only way to break through that is to stop wanting change and wanting to change. Because the only thing that you truly have control over is you. You have control of where you are, who you're with, who you're talking to, who you're not talking to. The very fact that you are sitting here today listening to me speak is a testament to your choices. So maybe the message today is something that you needed to hear. Maybe. Who knows? But with that being said, I thank you all for coming. This has been Satan and Coffee, the Wednesday edition. It's supposed to be the Tuesday edition, but we're a day late. I will see you guys tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. So yeah, we're switching the time from 6 to 6:30. Makes things a little bit easier for me. And I will see you then. Okay? You guys are absolutely amazing. And as always, hail thy fucking self. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys. Have the day you deserve.